extended that routine past a minute 10. So the routines are supposed to be between 1:10 and 1:30, but we'll leave that up to the judges to play with. And we'll go across to floor and Beth Tweddle of England. Music to accompany these routines, of course. Tweddle was born in South Africa. He's been representing England for a number of years now. And has a brother who plays hockey for England, so a great sporting family, the Tweddles. And she resides in Liverpool. Well, that's a fine opening for England, courtesy of Beth Tweddle, who reached 2 finals at the European Championships this year in Greece, uneven bars and beam, and 14th in the individual all-round, so she is world-class. Another look at the twisting and tumbling of 17-year-old Beth Tweddle. I don't think she quite got through that last twist, but landed okay. 3 tumbling passes generally. The male and female gymnasts on floor exercise will attempt. The tumbling and twisting just gets more and more demanding as the years go by. It's incredible what they're capable of. Melanie Roberts for Wales on beam, 7.85. No score yet for Tweddle on floor. The judges are very careful and measured about the early marks they give. And it's come in now for Tweddle, 8.85. Start value on the left there of 9.5. That is her possible maximum. So not every routine is it possible to score 10 anyway. You add up the elements that the gymnast offers through the code of points, and it might be anything between 9 and 10, the start value. So we'll stay with floor, and it'll be Becky Owen. England in the team competition, runners-up 4 years ago, less than a point behind Australia. Full twisting double at the end of a first row. Oh, stepped out. It's interesting, there was no signal from the judge at that corner that she had stepped out. That's a 1/10 deduction. 12 metre square, the area. Getting set for the last tumbling pass, Becky Owen. Double back in the pike position to finish. It was quite expressive. Fairly well done, but that one significant mistake at the start when she stepped out of the area at the end of her first tumbling pass. Full twisting double there at the end. Another angle on the finish from Becky Owen. So again, depending on the start value, you would think with that 1/10 deduction, she'll get something in the high 8s. But we'll go, looks like we're off to the vault to see Katy Slater. Vault competition in the women's teams, just one vault. Might have seen over her shoulder. The start value for this one is 9.2. And that's a fairly straightforward, simple vault. No twists involved. Just a 1.5 forward somersault. I think the interesting development in vault over the last year or two has been the change in the actual look of the apparatus. See how it comes down at the front there. And it's a lot safer, especially for the girls. And it's really felt this has been an improvement. The vault has been responsible for some quite nasty injuries in the last few years, but the change to the look of the apparatus, Becky Owen, a 9.05, higher start value, so she's cracked the 9, the first one of the day. '17-year-old Katy Lennon from Surrey. The music which accompanies the routines for the women's floor exercise must not have vocals in it. It's instrumental only. Excellent form in that double back. More strongly built than Becky Owen. See if she's got more powerful tumbling. It's a tough last pass from Katy Lennon. She took a little while to get set for it in this corner closest to us, but it was worth getting right. Lovely combination into the double back. And Slater, score of 8.5 on vault for Northern Ireland. So the Irish girls not expected to threaten in the team competition, the top 3 nations. And this is the uneven bars routine of Kalina Astwood. And Kalina Astwood from Bermuda is, we understand, the youngest competitor here. Turns 14 in November, so she just qualifies. And a big occasion for her. And uneven bars out of the way for young Kalina Astwood. 5.525. Just a simple routine. Obviously, a lot of maturing still ahead of her in her gymnastics career. 9.05 for Katy Lennon. So England posting some good early scores on floor. Nicola Willis will be next.
And next on the floor, Nicola Willis of England.
Stepped out of the area. That time the judge raised a flag. I hope it wasn't missed the first time around, because there was no flag from the judge with the first English competitor, Beth Tweddle. I'd say from Beth's mark that it wasn't overlooked. The gymnasts are required to work closely with the music. The choreography should reflect the style of music. Nicola Willis from South Essex. Well, dance then, wherever you may be. And they were chanting along here for Nicola Willis, who unfortunately twice stepped out of the area. She's a rather disconsolate look on her face. It tells you she is all too aware of these errors. It's a beautiful layout double back, but the left foot jumped out. There's the yellow flag going up to signify that deduction. So 5 in the team as the maximum allowable number of athletes per country. 4 compete on each apparatus, and the top 3 scores count. So they can discard one, and it might be Nikki Willis's that they toss out. If it's under about 8.8, they won't use it. Beth Tweddle, I think, was about 8.9 from memory. So the second half of each group now. 8.9, well, they may yet use it. High start value. Mistakes in it, though. 9.7 was the start value, so they may take that mark on board. The very early standings, with Australia and Canada not yet having competed on any apparatus, but 27 points for England. So that's a clean average of 9 per routine that they have included. So 3 scores count for each apparatus, for each country. Providing, of course, they've got 3 athletes in. Now, the other athletes who are competing, who are just individuals, they're chasing a place in the all-around final or individual apparatus finals. So we can put England to one side for the moment and focus now on Australia and Canada, I think, is where our eyes will mostly be for the next few minutes. And beam for Canada. Kylie Stone. Whoa, big wobble there. And just got to stay on beam. I'm going to come off the apparatus. That's a 0.5 deduction. But I'm not telling you anything you don't probably already know, to say that the beam is the toughest to stay upright upon. Kylie Stone from the Stampede City Gym Club in Calgary. Well, the Calgary Stampede got some rather negative publicity recently. Whoa, baby. Stayed up there just. She was the 2001 Junior Canadian champion. Turned 15 just 2 months ago. Whistle in the background to let her know that 1 minute 20 has passed. Dismount to come. Did an excellent job with that, but there were some big wobbles. One right at the start of the routine and one in the middle where she all but came off the apparatus. But she managed to stay up there. Well, it's a nerve-wracking deal, this beam. Just 10 centimetres wide. And sometimes they're reaching for it almost blind. Excellent finish, though.
And the first contestant on floor from Australia is Stephanie Moorhouse.
So we'll wait for that score to come in, but go across to floor. Stephanie Moorhouse from Melbourne, Victoria. Gee, just got there. Training out of the Victorian Institute of Sport. Fell out of that last tumbling pass somewhat. Strapping to support the ankles. They take a lot of punishment. Looks like she's carrying a couple of injuries, the left wrist as well. She was the 1999 Australian Junior Champion. 6th all-around at last year's National Championships. Last tumbling pass for Stephanie Moorhouse. And sticks it. So she's got the Australians off to a relatively good start. A problem for her at the end of a second pass, but overall, not too bad. Australian coaches on the floor, Peggy Liddick and Nicola Lapsheen. Kylie Stone an 8.375 on beam for Canada. So we go back and forth between beam and floor to watch these two medal contending teams. Very smooth execution of a difficult mount. Danielle Hicks, coached by Allana Davidova, who in 1980 for the Soviet Union was the all-around gold medalist in Moscow. Quite often have the situation at women's gymnastics meets where someone's doing a floor routine while someone else is doing the beam. And it almost sounds like the music is for the beam routine if you're only focusing on this apparatus, but we're not doing that here. Set for the dismount. And she too does a good job with that. Kylie Stone had a great dismount, and I think that performance from Danny Hicks will be somewhat upper category on the teammates. Alexandra Croak, originally from Coffs Harbour, which is in the north of New South Wales. Training at the Institute of Sport in Canberra. Oh, amazing height. She just took off. The senior Australian competitors at 18. Nearly lost it. So far for the two Australian gymnasts, the mistakes have been small. A minute 15 gone from the routine, so this will be the last tumbling pass for Alexandra Croak. Can she stick it? Double back to finish, and she certainly does. Not a movement on the landing. And that was another good routine for Australia. One significant problem at the end of the second tumbling pass, but winner of the 2001 Australian all-around title with a total of 72.875. Moorhouse earlier, an 8.925. So the Australians will need something a little better than that to keep pace with the English girls, who averaged 9 on floor. Back to the Canadians on beam, and Kate Richardson. Born in Vancouver. Turned 18 just last month. Her 16th placing at the 2000 Olympics was an equal best performance for a Canadian at a non-boycotted games. She actually moved up a spot after that with Andrea Raducan disqualified because of a positive drug test. So they're looking to combine gymnastic and acrobatic ability and dance elements. That is a good beam routine. Couple of steps on the landing, but up on the apparatus, she was clean as she would have liked to have been, I think. That's excellent performance. Danielle Hicks, 8.725 earlier. Croak, a 9.25 for Australia on floor. That helps them.
Well, we have been given the cue. They can't go, so please give them a very warm welcome, Sarah Lauren and Olivia Booth.
Sarah Lauren. She's got a lot of family and friends here. 13 in all have made the trip to Manchester. Quite impressed with the height, both from Croak prior to Lauren, and now Sarah also. They seem to have adopted the tactic in their choreography of going for the tough tumbling pass as their middle one. So the first to perhaps get a feel for the routine. The second is full of the twisting elements. Full twist there as well. Peggy Liddick, Australian coach, is pacing up and down beside the floor exercise area, clapping, anxious. The coaches really feel every moment of these routines. They've got so much invested in the success of the gymnasts. Last pass for Sarah Lauren. And again a double back to finish. Well, a proud and expressive conclusion to that floor exercise routine from Sarah Lauren. Mum and Dad are here, a sister, and numerous other friends and relatives. And she looks quite pleased with that, and entitled to be, I'd guess. Look at the height. There's just amazing. They can generate that. It is a sprung floor, sure, but both she and Alexandra Croak were reaching for the arch of this fabulous GMEX centre. And a 9.125 for Kate Richardson on beam. That's the highest score we've seen there so far. Canadians are stepping it up. Heather Purnell. Well, that bend wasn't part of the schedule. Lovely step over and then back somersault. Again, no sign of any wobble or imbalance. Steady on the pirouette as well. Gymnasts should be attempting to work to all parts of the beam, sometimes even underneath it. Might have noticed she was just feeling for the end of the beam with the right foot there as she gets set for the dismount. And another good beam routine for the Canadians. No one's come off yet. They've had a few problems with the first two competitors up there, but following on the good performance from Kate Richardson, Heather Purnell has done a fine job.
On the asymmetric bars, please show your support for Nicola Willis from New Zealand.
And this was the dismount. So the Canadians will be quite relieved, I think, that no one fell from the beam. They've had their four competitors up.
Final competitor in this round on floor, Allana Slater from Australia.
Now, a lot of hope for Australia's chances rest with this experienced young gymnast, Allana Slater. She was part of the gold medal winning team from Kuala Lumpur 4 years ago. She also picked up 2 individual medals, second on floor, second all around. Part of the Olympic team that finished 7th in Sydney. Gee, she was nearly short there. That tested her. Allana from Western Australia. She had a back injury last season that kept her out for some of the year, 2001. Allana Slater will be hoping to make several apparatus finals as well as the individual all-around final tomorrow. And another fine routine from Allana Slater. Very solid start for the medal favourites. Gold medal favourites they are. So the Australians are done on the floor. That is actually the end of the first rotation, I believe. An 8.3 for Heather Purnell on beam, from a lowish start value of 9.3. So they haven't done as well as they might have liked on beam, even though all 4 competitors stayed up. Sarah Lauren, a 9.45 on floor. No scoring yet for Slater, but the Australians may have a lead of about half a point at the end of the first rotation, but they face the rather daunting prospect of having to finish the competition on beam, and they could be some some nervous competitors if they go to the beam protecting just a skinny lead, or perhaps trying to take the lead. Slater, a 9.575. Team total of 28.275 with their 3 best scores, and they're in pretty good shape. Now, Nikki Wells on uneven bars for New Zealand. Nicky Wells, 17. Had a 24th placing in the individual all-around at Pacific Alliance Championships in New Zealand 2 years ago. And a nice dismount from Nicky. Smart uniforms the New Zealand girls have. Elegant lines working to the low bar. Gymnasts obviously have to work to both. Smooth transition to the higher bar. And a score of 8.4 out of a start value of 9 for Nicola Willis. Gail Campbell of Scotland. This is a look at her vault. That's well done. Just a pained expression there. I wonder if that ankle isn't worrying her. Good push off. Just a half turn in flight. Squeezes out a smile. Nice form with the legs through the air. Lands within the two lines and greets the judges. And Gail Campbell, an 8.8 on vault. So Australia with the early lead, pretty much expected. It's the size of it that might be a surprise and a worry for England and Canada. They're out by over a point. Scotland in fourth, then Northern Ireland, New Zealand, Wales and Bermuda. Those are the countries with at least 3 gymnasts in the team competition. 4 apparatus for the women: beam, uneven bars, vault and floor. And so we're not far away from starting the second rotation. Australia and England on vault. They'll reverse the order of competition this time, the various groups. So Australian competitors to go before the English, and Canada will go before Wales on the floor. Danielle Hicks will be first for Canada on floor.
Next on the floor, would you welcome Danielle Hicks from Canada?
Canada start the second rotation in 3rd place. Canadians bring a slightly younger team to the Commonwealth Games than Australia and England. So we've probably got a few here in the developing stage. 2 steps out of that last pass from Danny Hicks. Double back to finish. No problems there for Hicks. And a solid start for Canada on floor. Plenty of ground to make up early, but with 3 apparatus to do it, they also have plenty of time and opportunity.
Slight pause before we introduce our gymnasts. You may have noticed that the vault has changed from the vaulting floors you saw traditionally in the Sydney Olympics. We now have a vaulting table or platform. We vault over the platform at step
And
back
this was
125.
the work on floor from Hicks.
And centuries, 10 metres. I do apologise. That would be quite high, wouldn't it?
Too much for me there.
Well, I believe we are now ready for our next.
And no scoring yet for Hicks. So just listening to a little public address gaffe from the locals here suggested the vault was 10 metres high. Jacqui Dunn on vault for Australia. Round off. Good vault. The Australians away well. Jacqui Dunn, looking forward to seeing her on beam. She has a move onto the beam that is named after her. Just the 1 vault again for the women in this team stage of the competition. Half turn on, and ankles just a little apart in post-flight, but not too many problems there for Jacqui Dunn. Hicks an 8.875 on floor.
And next on floor, Kylie Stone of Canada.
Back across to floor. It's a decent left bicep she's got there. The next couple of Canadian competitors, Kylie Stone, Heather Purnell and Kate Richardson, must make the opportunity, most of the opportunity here on floor, to close the gap on England and Australia. That's the way to do it. Kylie Stone competed at the 2001 Pan Am Championships, finishing 7th in the team event, 8th in the beam, and 18th all around. That's a great last pass from Kylie Stone. And like Danielle Hicks before her, a competent floor routine. They need a couple in the 9s, and Heather Purnell and Kate Richardson might provide it. Here's the vault score for Jacqui Dunn, 9-1. Start value of 9.7, so they're keeping up their average of 9 at least.
In this competition. And we are now ready for our next competitor, Allana Slater from Australia.
Wonder how much longer Allana Slater will stay in gymnastics. At 18, might be towards the end of her career. Another solid vault coming from the Australian team. She says the proudest moment of her gymnastics career was the team gold performance in Kuala Lumpur, standing on the dais and receiving that medal. It's just a very special moment to her, and if they keep this up, they will be well placed to repeat that. Half on, half off, ankles. Oh, that's good form through the air. That's better, I'm sure you'll agree, than from her teammate, Jacqui Dunn. Similar landing, but post-flight was more graceful. Kylie Stone, that's a 9.125 on floor. That is good for Canada. And a score in for Slater of 9.225. Back to the Canadians on floor. England will follow Australia on the vault. It's not that they're not competing in this rotation, just waiting their turn. Purnell just keeps it in the area. Well done. Full twisting forward saltos, two of them back to back. Heather trains out of the Ottawa Gymnastics Centre in Ontario. Two years ago, she won the Canadian Junior All-Around title. Last year, fourth in the Senior All-Around. And she's coming on very well. At last year's Pan American Championships, she finished 8th in the floor. And Purnell has done well there for Canada. Same finish, interestingly, with that Pikes double back that the Australian gymnast favoured. That's another 9+ performance, you'd imagine, and the Canadians are starting to wind it up after modest scores only on the beam, but they didn't have any disasters there, and that could be the platform on which to build. So Purnell's pleased, and she'll be hoping that the judges are as well. While we wait her score, we'll go back across to the vault. Keep an eye on Australia's progress. Sarah Lauren had a good floor performance. Straight into it. Round off vault. Oh, she was right on the end of the springboard. Nearly mistimed that. But Nicola Willis, you can't see the feet were right on the end of the springboard. Ankles fairly well together. Might not be quite the same quality as Allana Slater. But again, she's kept it in line with the vault. And the Australians are showing good consistency through two apparatus. They're not quite halfway there. Uneven bars and beam await them. Purnell an 8.875 on floor for Canada. Sarah Lauren a 9.2 on the vault. So with each performance, Australia is continuing to build on this lead. It's looking a little ominous for Canada and England. Kate Richardson. Canadians could well get something special out of Kate here. Oh, that wasn't it. She achieved a wonderful height at the end of that pass, but I'm sure you saw she stepped out of the area. Oh, and again. It's a delicate compromise, gymnastics at this elite level. Pushing yourself almost to the limit, but not to the point where you can't complete the various maneuvers and the connecting elements. If you step out of the area, then maybe you're trying something that you can't consistently repeat satisfactorily. And there's 2 mistakes from Richardson, one of their senior gymnasts. Well, what a shame. What grace and style she has, but 2 mistakes that I don't think will allow her much of a smile as she comes off the area. This might be one of them. Check here. Full twisting double. And whip back and double twist, and the left foot stepped out at the end of that one. So there you have it. A couple of tenths gone. It probably had quite a high start value, that routine, but 2 mistakes chipping away at her possible total. Australians have got away 3 good vaults. Alexandra Croak will be really going for one here. Got a trio of decent scores already. She'll want to make the vault final, but she'll also want to give this absolutely everything, because there's no pressure now on Australia in the vault. Croak, round off. Quite a big step on landing, but she got lots of distance. And again, Nicola Willis pretty pleased. Right on the end of the springboard. Ankles, well, legs came apart a bit. I don't think that's much more than a 9-1. Start to get a feel for the way the judges view these vaults, because that's the same one that we're seeing from the Australians. Kate Richardson, 8.825. .53.1. Australia's looking at a lead over Canada of around 2.5 points already after 2 apparatus, but England can make a run. They will be next on vault. Waiting for the score for Alexandra Croak. Something around 9.1 perhaps. Well, 9.25. She's not been penalised too much for that leg form that we were looking at. So 9.25 is good. Helen Galashan of Scotland on uneven bars. This routine off tape as we prepare for the second half of the second rotation. Galashan joining Gail Campbell and Lynn Donaghy. Representing Scotland, but training in Wigan, not so far from Manchester. Had a very nasty injury 2 years ago, a double fracture to her right ankle. Has a twin sister, Carol, who's also a gymnast. And an 8.525 for Helen Galashan of Scotland.
Your warm-up period is ended.
Australia with the handy lead over Canada and Scotland, but we're really now going to focus on England, I think, in the second half of this second rotation. They'll be on vaults. Got Northern Ireland on uneven bars, Wales on floor, and the Welsh competitors might be first to go. Nope. Becky Owen. Just a straightforward 1.5 from Becky Owen. But did it well. A piked position. Got a birthday coming up next month, and she'll be 16. Lands it exactly in line with the vault. Doesn't have a very high start value. So we'll see if the English girls can start to post some 9s. Looks like we'll go across to uneven bars. In the meantime, check out the form of athletes from Northern Ireland. Ruth Cosgrave, I beg your pardon. Transition to the high bar was with a mixed grip. Toe shoot in the dismount from Ruth Cosgrave. We'll see more complex routines than that. The women at the top level have releases like the men on the high bar. Becky Owen 8.975 on vault. Start value is 9.4. The Australian team at the Olympics was 7th in the team competition. They are expected to take the gold here, but any number of things could go wrong over the next 2 apparatus. Standing by for the next English vaulter. Doesn't look like Beth Tweddle's quite happy with the setup. Okay. Still awaiting the green light from the judges, though. The mats being set beyond the vault. The vaulters often have a chalk mark made on the mat, the run-up, which is their start point, rather like the long jumpers. They know exactly the distance they want for the run-up. Half twist this time. That should be a slightly higher start value for that vault. 25-metre run-up available to them. Half turn, so she finishes facing back up the runway. Uneven bars for Cosgrave, 7.1. Lowish start value of 8.1. That's the scene, a moment of quietness. One competitor on beam, but not much else going on just at this second. Waiting for a couple of scores to come in, so we can get the next vaulter and next uneven bars away.
Completing on beam, Alexandra Croak from Trinidad and Tobago, and you can see Beth Tweddle
Tweddle,
in the vaulting.
a 9, even on vault. 9.6 that start value, so it's a 0.2 more difficult than the previous vault. Performed by Becky Owen. Katy Lennon will be next, followed by Nicola Willis for England.
And now on floor for Wales, Renee Jones.
Renee Jones for Wales on floor. The Welsh hoping for a top 5 finish in the teams. Sitting 6th at the moment. New Zealand 7th, Bermuda 8th, Trinidad Tobago 9th. Oh, out she goes, both feet. Final tumbling pass for Renee Jones. Double back. Well done. Big step out of the area early in the routine. But otherwise, a pretty good performance from Renee. Pleased to have it done, I think. Katy Lennon next on vault for England. That's the vault number on the left, 2404, the code for the vault she's about to do. And she and the team will make sure the right vault number's there. Same vault as Beth Tweddle's, just that half turn in post-flight. handspring, half turn. Kept the legs together well, spots the landing, one step back. Jones 8.35 on floor. So Wales not yet in the running for a medal. They're not likely to be. Question to come out of the second half of this second rotation is, where will England be? Probably not in a position with vault to overtake Australia. Prince Edward here. Duke of Wessex. Katy Lennon 9.05 on vault.
Competitors work on asymmetric arm and floor. We have Melanie Roberts for Wales and Katy Slater for Northern Ireland.
Oh, did she go out? Not quite, apparently. No signal from the judge in the corner. Toes were on the line. That's the way to use all of the 12-metre square. Wonderful thing for the home country competitors. Thinking not just of England but Wales and Northern Ireland and Scotland, is that it's such a short hop to Manchester that plenty of family and friends can make it. To see athletes like Melanie Roberts, Wales sitting in 5th position currently. Behind Australia, England and Canada. Looks like England have just nudged ahead of Canada with 3 vaults in. So Becky Owen, Beth Tweddle and Katy Lennon have moved England up to 2nd place after 2 rotations, and if Nicola Willis can put in a good vault here, they will further improve their position. Really attacks the vault. Stepped off to the side, out of that landing zone. A little unfortunate. Spoiled what was otherwise a good vault. She's had a rather unhappy start, really. Half turn, she was a bit short, you know, the top half of her body was parallel with the mat. Let's watch where her legs finish. See the 2 lines, she steps outside them. That's a shame, and it is a deduction. Melanie Roberts, 8.475 for Wales for the floor exercise. Still awaiting a score for Nicola Willis. The English competitors have now finished on vault. Their 4 athletes have completed. And 8.975. Start value on that vault is 9.6. And the team total 54.025. And England's performance there at least means that Australia doesn't have the luxury of an almost 3-point lead. It's under 2. England and Canada have somehow got to keep pressure on the Australians. Northern Ireland are performing on uneven bars. We've had Cosgrave, Suzanne Milford and Katy Slater. Slater with a 7-7. And Victoria Martin should finish off activity on the uneven bars in the second rotation. That's a rather lonely looking beam. That's how a lot of the gymnasts would like to leave it, I think, rather than have to perform on it. I'd be guessing that Victoria Martin will get the go-ahead now that a nearby floor routine has finished. Victoria is 15. Ooh, had a bit of a problem with that handstand at the top, but seems to have recovered well, working well to the lower bar. Almost reached a vertical position there, swinging through toe shoot finish again. Half turn back towards the bars, and Victoria Martin has done it, but it was a bit of a battle with a couple of those moves.
Gymnast, that completes rotation 2. Would you please move on to the next apparatus?
Half turn on the top of that high bar. Transition from low to high again, and that's the grip changes that accompany the rotation above the bar. If they can do in handstand, there's another one. And here's the dismount coming off the feet. And a half turn to finish for Victoria Martin. So we've finished the second rotation of 5, as you can probably hear in the background. 8.025 for Martin. Northern Ireland sitting 6th at the moment. Wales 5th, Scotland 4th, Canada 3rd. You see England a bit closer to Australia than Canada have been. So perhaps the challenge will come from England. And Australia's real test might come with the final rotation when they are on the beam. But they've got a good lead at the moment, nearly 2 points over England. Third rotation, not far away.
On the beam, we have New Zealand
Canadians on vault in this third rotation, and interesting training technique to put in their mind the correct body position for the vault. England and Australia on uneven bars. New Zealand competitors will start on the beam.
And on B, would you welcome from New Zealand, Kate Brocklehurst.
So a chance to see Kate Brocklehurst competing in gymnastics since the age of 4. She was ranked the best junior in New Zealand 2 years ago. And just 15 now. Sixteenth in the Junior Pacific Alliance uneven bars. So, all around, I'm sorry, 6th in the uneven bars. First on the beam at the Junior Nationals last year. The youngest member of New Zealand's Commonwealth Games team. Possibly her best apparatus is the floor. Training in Auckland under Jenny Junovic. And an interesting dismount. Simple one, but well executed. And that's a good performance on beam from Kate Brocklehurst.
Moving to the asymmetric bars, we have Nicola Willis from England.
Looks quite calm about it. In a big arena, might not have often performed in front of such a big audience. Again, it's sold out here at the GMX. Across 2 uneven bars. Jacqui Willis for England. England performing ahead of Australia on this apparatus. I wonder if they can put some pressure on the competition leaders with 3 or 4 good performances on bars. Willis, good dismount, excellent routine overall. That's a bit better. She had a problem on vault, problem on floor, but uneven bars looked pretty smooth right through. That'll give us some confidence. She did work hard there. I don't think you reach this level without working extremely hard over many hours and many years. And it's so disappointing when all that hard work doesn't come together when you need it most. An elite competition, but this was good. Double layout dismount. All feels quite simple when you get it right. And we're pleased Jacqui Willis there getting an 8-7 on uneven bars. Touch of relief, I think, for her. Not squirting people in the crowd, but the bars. Chalk it, then they wet it. It's like baking a cake, really. Put all the right ingredients together and hope you don't make a mess of it. Becky Owen next on uneven bars, but this is a look at Wales on vault. Nice one too from Melanie Roberts. Round off onto the vault. And 1.5, just no twists in that post flight. Eight 4.25 for Roberts.
Come on, Hall, you can do it.
Willis's score is in. Not sure what the delay is on uneven bars. They might just be waiting, I think, for the beam to be clear. And that's Belinda Castles up at the moment for New Zealand, so they won't, it seems, start the next uneven bars until Castles has finished. Dismount coming now. And she's done it well enough, as you can tell from the crowd reaction. So
Next on floor, Jessica Puchette from Trinidad and Tobago. And on the asymmetric bars, Rebecca Owen from England.
Rebecca, or Becky, also called asymmetric bars, but Brocklehurst 8.125 on beam. Bring you that score as we go quickly back across to uneven bars. It's one of those releases that we also see from the men on high bar. Dismount coming for Becky Owen, swinging into it, double layout. Excellent bars routine from Becky Owen. The uneven bars set up in front of one of the bigger grandstands here at the Gymnastics, and a lot of English support down that end for her. Lovely turn at the top. There's the dismount coming. Effortless and very fine landing as well. So that's the routine should bring her a good score. Depends on the start value. There's not much you could deduct for there. All smiles in the English camp for that. Still no score in. Holly Templeton for Wales on vault. Burst into a smile. That's well done. Really attacked that vault. Now the score in 8-9 for Becky Owen on asymmetric bars, uneven bars. You can call them either. Girls sometimes just call them bars. Can't get a drink there, apparently. No score yet in for Templeton on vault for Wales. Very careful control of events with the women's team competition. Holding back certain routines while others are finished. Helps both the concentration of the athletes and the coverage. 8.825, that's a good score from a lowish start value of 9.4. Next English competitor on uneven bars will be Beth Tweddle. And good to see Prince Edward here. No doubt getting some quality information about how the event runs, a bit more about the games. Beth Tweddle. Lovely Ginger release. She has some quite demanding elements in this uneven bars routine. Oh, and another release. Just the dismount to come. Well, Tweddle. She's pleased with that. That was complex, and she'll be hoping high scoring. Two good releases. And a fine dismount. Just with the one arm there while she pirouetted on top of the bar. Now, that's the Ginger. Nice to see these releases, women strong enough and acrobatic enough to borrow those releases from the high bar. And a full twisting double in the dismount, and she absolutely stuck the landing. So Tweddle, great job. And she's got a big score on uneven bars, 9.475. England make their move. Still Katy Lennon to come on uneven bars for England. Back across to beam, and good chance to catch up with New Zealand competitors again. Alethea Boone. With the New Zealand high performance squad in Auckland. She performed in Kuala Lumpur, 20th all-around. First all-around in the Commonwealth Games trials. Oops, and steps off. Favourite apparatus of the vault and floor exercise. And she was New Zealand's youngest athlete at Kuala Lumpur, and 4 years on now. 18 years of age. Also competes in aerobics. So aerobics, I'm sure, would help with the dance elements required on beam and floor. Would love to get a scholarship to the United States and perform there and study there. Alethea Boone. Obviously concerned that she parted company with the apparatus fairly early in the routine. But not to worry. Can't take it back now. Uneven bars. We've just seen Tweddle with a 9.475, and we've still got Katy Lennon to come. She sees her name on the scoreboard, but cannot go until the green sign appears. It's gone from stop to go now. So Katy Lennon can go. And they remove the springboard. Clear the area in front of the low bar. Had some clean performances on uneven bars, England. They've taken the fight up to Australia. And there's another good one from Katy Lennon. Canada will be on vault in the second half of this third rotation, and Australia will be on uneven bars. So I'll be looking at those competitors, I'm sure, with others mixed in when we can, but it's Australia, Canada and England again, as it has been at the last 3 Commonwealth Games for the women's team event. Katy Lennon. All concentration, just shuffling along the bar. Get ready for the next move. Flying away to the low bar. Really rely on the flexibility of the bar to create the power. They'll propel them high and low, and Lennon, no score yet. Althea Boone on the beam, 8.05. Lost half a mark, of course, for coming off.
So in the second half of the round, we have Canada on vault. On entry bar, Australia.
Katy Lennon, 8.35 on uneven bars. So the current standings, England ahead of Wales, New Zealand and Trinidad Tobago, but Australia and Canada yet to perform their third apparatus. Won't be long though.
Throughout the course of the competition, you'll see a code for each of the vaults being displayed by the end of the run-up. That tells us what vault is going to be performed, and when the gymnast starts vaulting, the tariff for the vault will be displayed, so you can look out for those. In the meantime, the standings after should be 2.5 rotations really. England taking the lead at the moment with 81.1. Wales in second with 75.225. And Australia there with 55.95, but they're yet to compete on the bar.
Gymnasts, you have 30 seconds left of warm-up. Gymnasts, that completes your warm-up.
We're pretty much halfway through the competition. 2.5 rotations completed out of 5. 4 apparatus, but too many athletes to put them all in 4 even rotations, so we have 5. Heather Purnell for Canada on vault. We need 4 good vaults here. Try and make up some ground on Australia and England. 9-4 the start value. Round off onto the vault. The vaulters for Canada, Purnell, Kylie Stone, Vanessa Meloche and Kate Richardson. So Danielle Hicks will sit this one out. Kept the vault nicely in line with the runway. And the new looking vault apparatus really just brought in since the Sydney Olympics, and it's increased the safety for the vaulters. And also the men are finding it really is of big assistance to them. A larger sweet spot, if you like, from which to launch. So it's safer for the women without detracting from their vaults. And the men, not only is it safer, but they seem to be able to do better vaults. So good result all round. Australia now on uneven bars with Sarah Lauren. They've got to keep the consistent performances coming to stay in front. Sarah Lauren hoping not just for her country and for herself, but for the many family that are here, she can put in a good performance. Successfully through the Jaeger release, and dismount to come. Oh, double somersault half turn, and that's a tricky dismount. Well done. The Australians are not faltering. Came into it firm favourites, and they're doing the job. But can they keep it up? Sarah Lauren. Judges are looking to see that the gymnast keeps the ankles together in the swinging movements. Any leg separation doesn't go down well in the judge's eyes. Here's this dismount. Oh no, it's the Kachev, beg your pardon. The second of her releases. Not Kachev, it's a Jaeger. Should start again. So waiting for a score for Lauren. And the Australians need to keep the nines coming, and there is one, 9.15. Allana Slater is probably their best on uneven bars. Purnell, 8.875 on vault. We'll go back to the Canadian team on vault. Well, bounced out of the landing somewhat. She was a bit stiff-legged when she hit the mats, and that propelled her backwards, further away from the vault. No big smile from Kylie Stone. Round off onto the vault, and just stepped out of it. Full twist in the post flight. Twist coming now, so she ends up facing back up the runway. That big step on landing will hurt her somewhat. Not hurt her score. She looks okay. And the score in now 8.925. The Canadians need some nines. Get close to England and Australia.
Now on asymmetric bars, Alexandra Croak of Australia.
Croak's had a good session so far. Been very solid on floor and vault. Coach moves away now. Full pirouette at the top and off to the low bar. Up to a nice vertical position there in the handstand. Oh, didn't quite get the landing as she might have liked, but there was a lot of good stuff in there from Alexandra Croak. Sure, the people watching back in Australia, Coffs Harbour in Sydney and at the Institute of Sport and throughout Australia will be hoping that she got these releases just right. As were teammates and coaches Peggy Liddick and Nicola Lapshane. Won the 2001 Australian title. 72.875 was her total.
We are now ready for our next competitor. Please give her a very warm welcome, Katy Lennon.
And Croak. This is the dismount. So much height. Almost came out of it with too much time. And a step back, but oh, a 9.4. It's a high start value. You see lots of difficult elements in there. And even with a problem with the dismount, she scores well. So it was out of 9.9. Half turn in the vault for Meloche, Vanessa Meloche. Look at the concentration and the drive towards the springboard. Half turn, good landing, well controlled vault. This is our first look at Meloche, Vanessa from Allentown in the USA. Billy Joel had a song about Allentown, didn't he? Living and training in the States, but representing Canada. Allana Slater. Slater loves the uneven bars. When she gets her routine right, she pleases the judges. It's a quite spectacular performance. With a little cheers from the teammates, sort of talking her through the routine, telling her how she's going, what she's got to do next. Dismount to come. Yes, that's a well-performed routine again from Allana Slater. And quite pleased with that. The Australians continuing to bring on the consistent performances. Meloche 9.15 on vault. That helps Canada's cause, but if Slater's got over 9.15, then they're not going to take anything out of the Aussies. And Slater, 360 degree release there. And another release, the Ginger. She's a very smooth operator on uneven bars, Allana Slater. Lost her father in a air crash some years ago and has really had a difficult time of it in recent years, but has fought on to further her gymnastics career. And a 9.5, that's the top score on uneven bars. Well done, Allana Slater. Richardson on vault for Canada. Round off. Half turn on and then 1.5. Looks a bit more pleased with that. Slight variation on what we've seen until now. So round off, half turn there, then another half turn. And a strong push off. Good form, good landing. And with confidence can greet the judges knowing that they will like what they saw. So what's it to be for Richardson? She's more experienced of the Canadian gymnasts. A little bit of a hold up on the score. Now it's in 9.25. Well done, Kate Richardson. Asymmetric bars. We've got one more competitor. It's Jacqui Dunn of Australia. The Aussies have already got 3 good routines away. A little bit of pressure off Jacqui Dunn, but she wanted to do well. Further her chances of being involved in the all-around and the apparatus final for the uneven bars. It's interesting listening to the encouragement of her teammates. Yes, sticks the landing. The little voices of the teammates again talking her through the routine. Just with one of those handstands, she wasn't quite at the vertical. But seems harsh to criticise any of these athletes when they work so hard, get up so early every day and work into the night. The hundreds and hundreds of hours they put into training. It's such a demanding sporting life, almost Spartan. They compete and train through pain and injury. Excellent release from Jacqui Dunn. Looking forward to seeing her on beam. She's got a beam mount that's all her own, named after her. And she'll be first up when Australia gets to that apparatus. And Dunn. Double somersault on the dismount, and the score is in now, 9.225. Fourth rotation is about to get underway, and Australia has cleared out with nearly a 3-point lead over England and Canada. Even more. And Wales in 4th position, New Zealand 5th, Trinidad, Tobago and Bermuda, the 7 teams taking part. Now Australia will sit out this rotation, as will England. Canada will sit out the last. So the Aussies have got a bit of a break, more time to worry about the beam, I suppose. Canada and Wales on uneven bars. Northern Ireland and Scotland on beam. Trinidad Tobago on vault. And a mixed group on floor. Namibia, Bermuda and the New Zealand girls, Kate Brocklehurst, Belinda Castles, Alethea Boone and Nicola Willis.
From Scotland, Kylie Stone. From England, Debbie Fitzgerald. And from Wales, Jessica Sharpington. And our judges on floor are
Judges on the floor are from England, Admiral Springs. From Namibia, Alana Slater. England, Steve Moker. Scotland, Katy Lennon. Wales, Alan Phillips.
gymnasts. You have 30 seconds left of warm-up. So we move into the fourth rotation, and our first two competitors work on floor and beam. On floor we have Lorraine Moore from Namibia, and on beam Suzanne Milford from Northern Ireland.
So we start the fourth rotation. Lorraine Moore is Namibia's sole entrant in the women's competition. Trains at the Excelsior Gymnastics Club in Namibia. One step out of the area there. Namibia, of course, I don't know how good your geography is, but it's in the African continent. Famous for sprinter Frankie Fredericks. Won the 2000 Girls Junior National Competition in Namibia with an average score on the 4 apparatus of 8.24. Wasn't quite old enough to compete at the 2001 World Championships. I think that was supposed to be there, that little half handstand. Perhaps it was. And this reaches for her neck. I hope she's not done a slight injury there. The neck and back, knees, ankles, all take some punishment. She's walking off a little gingerly. Kylie Stone, uneven bars, Canada, in a close battle with England for the minor medals. Nice Jaeger from Stone. Straight to the low bar, back to the high. She's working well. And a fine dismount too from Kylie Stone of Canada. Looks a bit more pleased with that one. Came away from the vault rather disappointed. I suppose it's as well that judges aren't required to consider the facial expressions of the gymnasts. It sometimes can give away quite a lot. And I suppose other gymnasts would be able to disguise what they thought about it. legs a little loose there. Ankles not locked together as they really should be. But a good double front somersault. Plenty of time to spot the floor and landed well. And Kylie Stone an 8.725. Start value of 9.3 there on the left. That was the possible maximum score. And Ruth Cosgrave of Northern Ireland on beam. Northern Ireland and Scotland across on this apparatus in this fourth rotation, and she's off. Twice. Well, it's a very demanding apparatus, and confidence is a great thing on the beam, and once it starts to go, it can just plague you right through. Oh, 3 times. Well, this is how tough it can be. It's 10 centimeters wide, 5 meters long. An instrument of torture, it must seem at times. Ruth Cosgrave getting towards the end of her beam routine. Can't come soon enough, probably. 3 falls from the apparatus. And a good dismount to finish it off, to at least leave a good impression about the end of the routine. Lorraine Moore, 6.95 on floor. Heather Purnell. Uneven bars next for Canada. Now Kylie Stone has shown the way for Canada on this apparatus with a good first performance. Set for the dismount. Oh, full twisting double, and down come the hands, and that's a disappointing end to an otherwise solid routine, and the disappointment all over the face. Oh, the dismount was all over the mat, unfortunately. And she's being told quite clearly by the Canadian coaches that she's not to cry. Cosgrave 6.675 on beam, and as we saw, she had a few problems there. Well, one of the reasons for a disappointment is that she knows that with that kind of dismount, she can't make the apparatus final, and it might hurt her chances of making the individual all-around final as well. So she'll only get something in the low 8s for that. And it was all looking so good until the very end. It was a demanding dismount that asked a lot of her. Little bend in the left elbow there. Go with that Ginger, no problem. It's really just the dismount. See if we can see what the problem was. Double somersault. And she was just short, really. Didn't spot the floor early enough, get through. Didn't get enough height, and an 8.25 only for Purnell. Looks to have composed herself now. Richardson. Oh, dear, oh dear. Now she's come off in a most unexpected moment. Just changing and, oh, right, her hands are slipping there and she's in trouble. There's a pirouette at the top of the bar and the grips just didn't find their mark. And Canada's chance of stealing the silver medal from England looked to have gone here. Usually when a competition comes unstuck, more often than not it's on the beam. Canada have struck problems on uneven bars. Kachev, well caught. Dismount to come. Fly away, double straight. I think they'll spend a fair bit of time looking at that fall on the television coverage later, working out exactly what she did wrong. It almost seemed like she attacked this routine a little too quickly at the start. Pushes up to a good position there. Rest of the routine was clean. Dismount. Well, she stuck the landing. But she loses half a mark for the fall earlier. Watch the grip changes here, if this is it. It is there. The right hand hasn't got a hold of it, nor... Oh, just one problem led to another with those complex series of grip changes. She went through the pirouette. It's more often the releases that see the gymnast part company with the apparatus. That was a tricky little move she was doing. And pack up the gear. Doesn't need that stuff anymore. And score. It can't be zero, surely. What's happened there? What's that about? Well, she looks as surprised as the rest of us. My Canadian colleagues are beside me as concerned and confused as the rest of us. No score. Well, so I'll look to have that cleared up for you as to why score of 0. So there was some kind of penalty, we're hearing now, imposed on Richardson with that previous bar routine. So there's a couple of issues for officials to sort through, and certainly disconcerting for Vanessa Meloche, who's next up. But Obviously, Richardson will take no part in the apparatus final for uneven bars. Meanwhile, let's keep our eyes on Vanessa Meloche, who's got to put those problems of a teammate right out of her mind and get the job done here. The release across the top of the bar was a good one. Working up to the dismount. Double somersault front. It's a beauty. And, well, I reckon that shows great maturity. There's quite a bit of controversy leading up to the start of her routine with the... She couldn't have helped but see the 0 on the scoreboard for a teammate and have been very concerned about it. Richardson in the background there smiling, but she must be wondering too whether it really will be a 0 that goes in the book. Well, I'll obviously discard that no score from Richardson. They've got 4 routines from which to choose 3. But in the fullness of time, the full details of that 0 will come out. Ah, okay. So 8.3 is the real score. That's better to see. And a mistake from the judges in the input. So 0 was not the score. 8.3 for Richardson. So it seems the judges accidentally put too big a penalty in, and a few moments of relief there for Richardson. That low score on uneven bars for Richardson also hurts her chance of making the all-around final. And Meloche a 9.35 on uneven bars. Good score. Canada, for the moment, will be sitting on top of the standings, with Australia and England not participating in this 4th rotation. Their final apparatus will come in the 5th. So there we have Canada, 106.8, Australia and England. So Australia with a 3-point lead almost over England when they get to their final rotation. We still have the second half of this 4th rotation to come.
That completes your warm-up. The first competitors take their positions at the apparatus. And on vault, Alexandra Croak from Trinidad and Tobago. And ready to start the beam exercise with Donaghy of Scotland.
We're across at the vault. Alex Devonish from Trinidad Tobago. Devonish belongs to the rather cutely named Trinidad Tiny Tots and Tumblers Gymnastics Club. A bit more than a tiny tot herself. She's one of the tumblers, perhaps. Name for the Gymnastics Club. And she's 15. Still the room abuzz with the penalties incurred by Kate Richardson over on uneven bars. My Canadian friends here in the broadcasting position pretty anxious about what happened over there. Kerry-Ann Rudd from Wales, uneven bars. No problems really so far for Rudd. When the athletes are pushing through to a handstand, the judges are really looking to see that they reach a vertical position. That's a question of timing and strength to get that done. And there's less difficult elements from Kerry-Ann than we saw from the Australian and English and Canadian gymnasts on uneven bars. The Canadians now actually finished their competition. They will sit out the last rotation and they finished the 4th. And for Alex Devonish, 7-8 on vaults. Cross to the Scots on beam. Not far to Scotland from the northwest of England, where we are. Manchester. Thinking about sneaking up there myself after the games are over. Have a look at Edinburgh and the wonderful castle. Campbell is off. She trains under Sandy Richardson at the Falkirk Gymnastic Club. At the Youth Commonwealth Games in 2000, she had a victory in the vault. The Scottish all-around champion 3 years running. 9th in the British National Championships this year in the all-around. 2nd on the vault, 8th on the uneven bars. So very strong on the vault, Gail Campbell. And has her eye on attending Stirling University to study sports science. Gail Campbell of Scotland. 18 years of age. And Rudd on uneven bars, 8.375. And Belinda Castles of New Zealand on floor. Double back to start, but 1 foot out of the area. Oh, well done. And Belinda's favourite apparatus, uneven bars. 11th in the junior section of the recent Asian Pacific Championships. She's with Gym Sport Manukau in Auckland. Under Lee McDermott there. Belinda says she was participating in gymnastics almost as soon as she could walk. And well done again. She gets near the end of the routine. So well done, Belinda Castles. Just one really significant deduction early with stepping out of the area, but she's in good company there. A lot of the gymnasts on floor have done that. 7.75 for Gail Campbell on beam. Back across to the vault. Ananda Fraser, Trinidad Tobago. Oh, well done. Nice vault. A simple one. But it's obviously one she can manage. Good speed on the runway. 25 metres long it is, too, by the way. I mean, you can use up to that amount. Blind landing, of course, coming forward like that. That's one of the tricky things about that particular vault. Score in for Belinda Castles of 7.575.
Moving directly to the floor for New Zealand, we have Alethea Boone. And on the asymmetric bars from Wales, Renee Jones.
So Alethea Boone from New Zealand on floor. The 99 World Championships, Alethea was ranked 104th. Well, crowd really appreciating her work with the music. Well, she too has stepped out, but some very impressive moves being put together by Boone here. Nice leap series. Last tumbling pass for Alethea Boone. Oh dear, she stepped way out of the area, but kept her feet. Score in for Fraser, 8.475. Jessica Pouchet, or Pouchet, one of those. And a good vault from Jessica. Really attacking this vault. Ankles locked together, and it's a good landing, and overall fine vault. Just inside those two white lines. It's crucial that the gymnasts keep the vault in line with the runway, and those lines indicate to the judges if they've achieved that. Score in for Boone of 8.125 after twice stepping outside the area. A little disappointed, I think she is. Not to worry. Easy for me to say, sitting up here. 8.4 for Jessica with that vault. Start value of 9.1. Sparkles in the hair. That'll catch the eye of the judges. Not supposed to, I suppose. They're looking at the vault, but it's all about presentation. Sport England. That's the governing body of sport in this country. It attracts a lot of money through the lotteries. And England, about 7 or 8 years ago, decided that they weren't happy with their place in the world sporting stage. They needed to spend money, serious money, attract top coaches to England across a range of sports. And they've been actively doing that. And they are starting to see some results. Track and field, gymnastics, they won the men's team competition yesterday. Their netball team is rapidly on the improve. They're setting up an academy, Australian style, for their cricket. And these changes really can't be achieved without a fair amount of money being spent on the infrastructure, on the coaching, on the trips overseas for the athletes. And rather tired of being humiliated on their sporting fields. England have bitten the bullet and thrown some money at it, and it's starting to work. Rather like Australia did after 1976. The Olympics there, which yielded a very meagre return. Australia, so proud of its sporting reputation up until then, thought, well, something's going wrong here. And it was after the 76 Olympics that Australia set up its Institute of Sport program. Roberts on uneven bars for Wales. Whoopsie. So in this fourth rotation, those bars have got a bit slippery, claimed a few victims. Melanie Roberts, the latest. Well, she was caught on the bottom of that swing for longer than she was meant to be. Dismount, and does well with that. But not too much cause for happiness overall with that routine for Melanie Roberts. Well, she's just overbalanced at the top of the handstand. All such fine judgment. There's a look from low level at this massive arch that rests above the Gymnastics, this old railway station that's been so creatively and usefully converted to other purposes since the late 80s. Happily, it's not quite as hot in here as yesterday. No air conditioning in the Gymnastics, and it's pretty warm on a hot day with 5,500 people in here. Still awaiting a score for Roberts on uneven bars as the gymnasts move away and get set for the final rotation. Can Canada or England catch Australia? I see a score now for Roberts of 7.2 on uneven bars. So we should be able to tabulate the standings. Look, a touch lopsided at the top, with only Canada out of the top nations having completed all 4 apparatus. So Roberts is 7-2. Wales have also finished their day's work. They can sit out the final rotation.
And we are moving into the final rotation, and if you draw your attention to the scoreboard there, you can see the standings after 4 rotations are as follows. The leaders are Canada with 106.8. They're followed by Wales with 98.925.
That's the standings. 106.8 for Canada, ahead of Wales, then Australia and England. But keep in mind, Australia and England have yet to complete. They have the beam to come. So the gold medal should really be between Australia, England and Canada, with Australia having almost a 3-point lead over England, and they will need problems with at least 2 of their athletes, or 3, to have any chance of surrendering top position to England. England, in turn, if they struggle on beam, could surrender 2nd place to Canada. So it should be quite an interesting last series of performances. And it'll be Australia first on beam. New Zealand girls are across on vault. Canadian and Welsh competitors are finished. Allana Slater. Whoops. Get the bad ones out of the way in the warm-up.
That completes your warm-up.
That's the lineup for Australia on beam. Jacqui Dunn, Alexandra Croak, Sarah Lauren and Allana Slater. Would encourage you to watch this mount onto the beam by Jacqui Dunn. She pioneered it. It's named after her. Round off, half turn. Can she keep it going? A good performance from Dunn could set it up for Australia. Couple of wobbles, but nothing too significant. That's what I mean about working above and below the beam these days. That's come in only recently. Born in Adelaide, but training out of the AIS in Canberra. Over a minute now. It's a long pause getting set. The judges may deduct that, but getting a good dismount away is Jacqui Dunn. And I'd suggest to you that that performance in this latter stage of the competition gives them a third of the way towards the gold medal. They just need 2 more solid performances on beam, and gold is theirs. Such is the lead. It wasn't perfect, but it was more than enough to keep the English girls covered. I wonder how many times trying to land on that narrow beam they must roll their ankles in training, but hers are obviously in good health at the moment. No strapping to support her ankles. And the dismount, she was a little bit short, head low, but was able to stand up without losing the footing. So really feel that on beam, it's for Australia to win or lose this gold medal. Can they defend it? Australia with Jacqui Dunn, a 9.275 on beam. Next up for them will be Alexandra Croak. Talking to another broadcaster up here for Channel 7, Liz Chetkovich, a coach from Western Australia. She was telling me that the Australians have been training the house down. Not only were they favourites on reputation, but also training very well in preparation for this team event. Now Alexandra Croak has been given the green light. Start her beam routine. Quite novel beginning as well. Well, she stayed up, but it was a notable wobble, and there'll be a deduction for that for Croak. She's working elegantly though. Has to be a leap series in the beam routine. Oh, difficult combination there. Sometimes it's as much about the connection of elements as what they're worth individually. Working to the end of the beam to get set for the dismount now, Alexandra Croak. Well done. They have been so consistent today. A little shy of perfection maybe occasionally on their routines, but the consistency is there. Croak's work is done, and she might be able to get the feel of a gold medal around her neck before too long. They've led right from the start, Australia. Nearly overbalanced that with an interesting mount of the beam. Forward salto into the leap, and then the work under the beam. That was surely really contributing quite a lot to the start value of this routine. Croak with a little bit of support on that left ankle. I wonder if it helps to have big feet or little feet. She goes with the dismount. No, it's not. Look, that was that early problem she had with the tumbling pass. It's like a floor routine, but on a 5-metre long beam. 8.85. Well, that's probably a little lower than she would have been hoping for. Might be also too low to get her into the apparatus final. Sarah Lauren. Almost to a casual start to her beam routine. Oh, very smoothly done. Sure, mum and dad and sister in the stands are just holding their breath at this moment. Oh, and off. That's the first significant mistake that the Australians have made. So there'll be some pressure on Allana Slater, who will follow. And full twisting Corbett, that's called. A back somersault to the beam. And she did well with the dismount, but a 0.5 deduction for coming off the apparatus, and teammates will be telling her, don't worry too much about it, we're just about over the line. But she's obviously disappointed, but has done a good job. A team effort. That was all good. No problems with balance there. Well, might you call it the balance beam. And just overcorrected, didn't she? There's that. Originally, when Olga Corbett pioneered the move, it didn't have a twist in it, but since then, the gymnasts have gone to work on it. And here's the dismount, double back in the tuck position. And Sarah Lauren sort of resurrected the routine after the fall. Still should get something in the 8s. Well, 8.3. Would have got 8.8 if you take off the half for the fall. I think they've got enough in hand, though, even if Allana Slater had a fall on beam, to still keep England and Canada beneath them. Staying with beam because this could finish it off for Australia. She only needs to get through this relatively smoothly, and the gold medal should be Australia's. See if she's up to the pressure. Gold medalist 4 years ago, an Olympian. She's been at World Championships. It's her stage. Looking very confident so far. Gives a lot of credit to her mother for her longevity in the sport and her success. premier athletes from the state of Western Australia. So some quite different elements in this beam routine to what we've seen from other athletes. Let's see if she can finish it off and secure the medal for Australia. Oh, that'll be good enough, I think. An excellent performance from Allana Slater. The Australians have finished. She throws her head back in relief. She could have won a second team gold medal. The only survivor from 4 years ago. When Australia narrowly beat Canada and England in Kuala Lumpur. This was probably all she hoped for. In '98, Australia beat England by just 0.8 in the team's competition for the women in Kuala Lumpur, with Canada third. England won it in '94 and Canada won it in 1990. So England won it in Canada. Canada won it in New Zealand. Australia won it in Kuala Lumpur. And can Australia win it in England? Well, Slater's performance suggests to everyone here that they probably can. And a 9.125 for Slater. And the team score 111.325. And I think we're looking at England's total. They'd need just about 3 10s to catch Australia. So I think the Aussies can quietly sit out the England performances and know that they're across the line. So Australia 4.5 points ahead of Canada, who have also finished. New Zealand on 100 exactly. Look at England's total, 81.1. They're 30 points behind Australia. They can't catch them. But we'll watch their performance with interest. Just at the halfway point of the final rotation. Peggy Liddick is the Australian senior coach, and I think since moving to Australia, she's really overseen an improvement in Australian women's gymnastics. England's quest must be try to get in front of Canada, and they need 25.5 points. Waving to their friends and family up in that stand. I believe that's where the Aussies are sitting. What a relief and a joy for them. Don't even have to worry about what the opponents do. It's Beth Tweddle, Becky Owen, Katy Lennon and Nicola Willis who'll perform.
Well, that brings us to the end of the warm-up. If I can ask our first two competitors to get ready to present to the judges, we're going to work with a beam and floor first. And on floor from Northern Ireland, we have
Beth Tweddle on beam for England. So the medals in the team competition continuing to be shared, it would seem, between England, Canada and Australia. It just keeps changing with the order as Tweddle makes a smooth start to her beam routine. Yes, England tries.